back to my channel Tutelage, a guide to learner. Here this is Sriparna. Hope all of you are doing great. We had discussed in my last session some basic information about UGC Net examination, its nature and most importantly its syllabus. Okay. So today we are going to explain the first unit, that is teaching aptitude. So if you have missed my last session, please go and check my description box and my first comment where the link is already shared. So learner, let's begin the new session and go to my next slide where we can see what's the today's topic for discussion. So now let's move. So here we can see some topics. The first one is definition of teaching. Second one is needs of the teacher. Third one is objectives of teaching, and last one, that is a memory level of teaching. So level of teaching is of three types. The first type, that is memory level of teaching. So today we will discuss the first type level of teaching only. Okay. So now move on the main slide. So we all know that teacher as the most important and responsible members of the society, and teachers have the responsibility of overall development of the students, thereby preparing civilized citizens of tomorrow. According to the APJ Abdul Kalam, teaching is a noble profession that shapes the character, caliber and future of an individual. So the basic meaning of teaching, that is to instruct someone. Okay, to instruct someone or to impart knowledge regarding a subject or a skill. So it is the process of flow of ideas, instruction and knowledge from one mature person, that is teacher, to other less mature persons, that is students. Okay, so now going to the definition. So according to Morrison, teaching is an intimate contact between a more mature personality and the less mature one. So more mature personality denotes teacher and less mature personality denotes students. So we can say that teaching denotes the basic relationship between student and teacher. So it is a process of flow of ideas, instruction, knowledge from student to teacher. The teacher to students. Okay. So I think the definition of teaching is clear. So now move on the next. So here we can see there are three teachers need. The first one is knowledge, second one is communication skills, and third one is aptitude. So obviously teaching needs three important qualities. The first one is knowledge, second one is communication skills, and third one is aptitude. So at first we have to discuss some 2 or 3 sentence about knowledge. Okay, so knowledge, needs of the knowledge. Okay, so knowledge of the teacher is very important criteria, is very important quality. Obviously we all know that teacher gives ideas, instructions, knowledge to students, so less mature person, so he or she helps to grow more mature person. Okay, so now move on the next one, that is the communication skills. So which is also an important criteria or quality of the teacher. So he or she communicates with his or her students. Without communications, teaching is not possible. So now move on the third criteria or quality, that is aptitude. Okay, so now move on the third one, that is the aptitude. So aptitude means ability to do something. Okay, so ability to do something. So chapter name is teaching aptitude. So what do you mean by a teaching aptitude? Teaching aptitude means the tendency to teach. Okay, so questions based on teaching aptitude relate to different aspects of teaching, and it helps to test the ability of a candidate to teach also. Okay, and when we have already discussed the definition of teaching and all, but teaching is of two types also. The first one is formal and second one is informal. So at first we have to discuss the formal teaching. What do you mean by a formal teaching? When you think about the teaching, there will be an image in your mind always of an interaction between a teacher and a group of students in a classroom setup. But this is known as formal teaching. But there can be teaching even outside the classroom as well. So this is informal teaching, where student learns from family, friends, society, etc. So teaching can be formal and informal. So teaching is of two types. At first we have discussed the definition of teaching, and then we have discussed the types of teaching, that is formal and informal. So classroom setup teaching denotes a formal setting, and when students learn from first family, society, friends, so which type of teaching is known as informal teaching. I think formal teaching and informal teaching is clear to everyone. So now move on the next. So here we can see some objectives of teaching. So we have already known what do you mean by a teaching. So basically teaching is the process of flow of ideas and instructions and knowledge from one person to another person, from one mature person to less mature persons. So that's why it helps to provide knowledge and skills to the learner. I think this is clear. So now move on the second one, that is it helps to mold and shape the learners. We have already told that according to the APJ Abdul Kalam, teaching is a noble profession and that shapes the character, caliber and future of an individual. So that's why it denotes teaching helps to mold and shape the learners. Okay. So now going to the third one, that is it helps to nurture students also. So fourth one, so teaching helps to inculcate the values, punctuality, morals, discipline in students. Without these, teaching is impossible. So moral values, punctuality, discipline in students, which helps to grow a civilized person in the society. And we have already told that the basic aim of the teaching is to prepare a civilized person. So that's why it is one of the most important objectives of teaching also. So now move on the next, and here we can see another objective of teaching, that is it helps to develop a sense of solidarity, the sense of brotherhood, sense of teamwork, leadership in learner, and all things help to grow a civilized person in the society also. So that's why it is one of the most important objective of teaching. And now move on the last one. So it helps to prepare students to be a better citizen of tomorrow, and we have already told that part. So in other words, the main objective of teaching is all round development of students. Okay, so the main objective, that is all round development of students, and this is the basic and main objectives of teaching. Okay, so now move on the next concept. So here we can see the levels of teaching, and there are 3 levels of teaching. The first one is memory level, second one is understanding level, and third one is reflective level. But today we will explain only the memory level of teaching. Okay, so teaching is a purposeful activity. So teacher brings a desirable change in the learner through teaching, obviously. So teaching and learning, both concepts are interrelated to each other. Okay, during teaching, interaction takes place between teacher and students, more mature persons and less mature person, and its main aim, that is, it helps to bring change in the behavior of the students. And teacher teach students at three levels. The first one is memory level of teaching, second one is understanding levels of teaching, and third one is reflective level of teaching. So at first we have to discuss the memory level of teaching. So at first we have to know what do you mean by a memory level. Okay, so what is memory level? Memory level of teaching is concerned with the memory or the mental ability which exists in all living beings. Okay, so it is concerned with only the presentation of the facts and information. The main proponent of the memory level of teaching, Herbert. Okay, and now going to the different phases of memory level. So the first one is learning, second one is retaining, third one is recalling, and fourth one is recognizing. So here thinking ability does not play any role, okay, in this level of teaching. So that's why teacher presents the study material in sequential order. So that's why this level of teaching is also known as cognitive level of teaching, and he or she is free to make choices of subject matter and plan it and can present it according his or her choice. Okay, so that's why when teacher represents the material or the topic to the students, so students can learn it, retain it, and if needed he or she can recall it, and most importantly recognize it after some time or some days. So that's why different phases of memory level is learning, retaining, recalling, and recognizing. So now going to the next slide. So here we can see the objective of memory level. So that is just to impart knowledge or information to the learner. Basically teacher only represents the material or topic in a sequential order. Okay, so thinking ability does not play any role, so that's why it helps to impart knowledge or information to the learner only in the memory level of teaching. Okay, so now move on the next. So here this is the Herbert's model of memory level, and there are four stages. The first one is focus, second one is syntax, third one is social system, and fourth one is support system, and we will explain all stages elaborately. So now move on the next slide where there is a blank space for elaboration. So now move on the next. So now going to the elaboration for Herbert model of memory level of teaching. So the first stage, that is focus. Okay, there are five sub stages. Okay, the first one is training of mental aspects. So what do you mean by the training of mental aspects? So at first you have to train your students mentally, and now you are teacher, so you are the teacher basically, so you are providing the knowledge. So that's why the second sub stage, that is providing knowledge. Okay. So now going to the third one, that is the retaining. So after presentation the topic, students are retaining learned facts and then they are recalling that portion through seeing picture, model, graphs, etc. So in the first stage, that is focus, there are 4 stages. The first one is training of mental aspects, the second one is providing knowledge, third one is retaining learned facts, and fourth one, that is recalling part. Okay, I think the first stage is clear. So now going to the second stage, that is syntax, and this is the one of the most important stage of this model. Okay, so there are also 6 step. Okay, so step 1, that is preparation. Okay, preparation. So that means you will prepare. So we will consider you are the teacher. So that's why you will prepare yourself at first to teach your students, and you have to prepare your students or learners through different questions from the previous topic or previous knowledge, and which is related to the current knowledge obviously. Okay, so now going to the second step, that is aim. So in this stage, you or the teacher can declare topic name. What will be the topic in this class? Okay, what will be the discussion topic in this class? Okay, so now move on the third step, that is representation, by presentation or presentation of the topic. Okay, so the teacher in this stage, the teacher will represent the whole topic to the students. And now move on the fourth one, that is the association. Association. So teacher has to compare the present knowledge with the previous knowledge, and he or she has to compare the present and the previous knowledge, and this portion, this process is basically known as the association. And now move on the fifth one, that is the generalization. Generalization. So at this stage, the teacher has to generalize the whole concept, whole knowledge, because in this stage principles and laws are formulated for the future life situation also. So that's why this process or procedure is known as the generalization process. So now move on the sixth or last step, that is application. Okay, so at this stage, the teacher helps the students to apply their knowledge in the real life situation, and that is one of the most important step or stage in the syntax process. So in the syntax, there are 6 steps. The first one is preparation, the second one is aim or revealing the topic name, third one is presentation, fourth one is association, and fifth one is generalization, and sixth one, that is the application. So now move on the third stage, that is the social system, and we will consider only a student and teacher is in the society. Okay. So teacher basically occupy the primary situation, primary position with their authorization and the dominant role, because he or she is free to make choices of the subject matter and plan it, and he or she can present it to the students. So that's why he or she occupy the primary position. And now going to the student section, so student occupy only the secondary position. And now move on the fourth stage, that is the support system. Okay. So support system, is the oral and the written test essay type questions are the support system of these level. So that's why oral and written test essay type questions are used to evaluate the learning in this level of teaching. Clear? I think this is clear. I think Harvard model of memory level is clear to everyone. So now move on the next concept. And here we can see some advantages and disadvantages of this level. So first one is, it is useful for children at the lower classes. Why? Why? It is useful for children at lower classes because of their intellect as under development and they have a rote memory. So that's why it is useful for children. And now going to the second one, that is, it is useful for the slow learners, obviously, and it helps to children for learning a new concept. Obviously the teacher can present a topic to the students, so that's why students can learn it. Okay. So obviously memory level of teaching is helpful to the children for learning a new concept. So now move on the fourth and fifth one, that is a teacher centered and subject centered. Obviously teacher occupy the primary position with their dominant role and authorization. So that's why all techniques, all methods which is used in this level, that is teacher centered and subject centered, obviously. So now move on some disadvantages. So the first one is, it is not beneficial for the higher classes. Obviously there is a rote learning and rote learning is not possible for the higher classes. And now going to the second one, that is, there is a dominance of teacher, obviously because teacher occupy the primary position for their dominant role. And interaction level is very low in the classroom because teacher only present the whole topic to the students and he is free to make choices of subject matter and plan it, and he or she can present it according to his or her choices. So that's why teacher student communication, teacher student interaction is very low in the memory level of teaching. And now move on the fourth one, that is there is don't get a chance of self learning. Obviously there is a no scope for self learning. And fifth one, that is importance of the rote learning, and rote learning is one of the biggest disadvantage in the memory level of teaching, and rote learning is not beneficial for students also. So that's why there is a great importance of rote learning in the memory level of teaching, and so this is one of the most important disadvantages also. So now move on the next one. So I think this is clear to everyone. So we are done for today's session. I will come with a new session very soon. Till then, stay tuned. Please do like, share, comment and more subscribe to my channel. Happy learning. Thank you.